The idea of capturing a moment, like capturing a split-second moment that's almost like a photograph or like a freeze frame of a still of a film or something. Conversation between me as the artist and the viewer, and I'm sort of suggesting things and then making the viewer feel things. So for this one, I did want it to be kind of bluey, so I've sort of pushed that. Or even, I like to paint either on, I've started painting on aluminium and dye bond now, but I also paint on enamel and enamel ground. So I get a lot of the reference images, I get a lot of them from YouTube, looking up old home videos or things and then screenshotting them on my phone. I am always experimenting. I've got tons of different tools and brushes, and I love buying funny old brushes on eBay or just anything that makes a unique mark. And then I kind of like the idea that it's a kind of a memory, or there's a bit of nostalgia. And then I'm happy that the viewer, they can almost make their own story up of what they recognise or things that they make them feel. And I like the materiality of the paint, and so even just swirling the paint around and then trying to make it like catching a moment. Of course, because I used to do a lot of portraits, and I realised that just looking at someone's portrait doesn't leave that much for the viewer to bring to the conversation. It's just a kind of visual image of someone. But when I kind of do these little scenes, I like the thought that the viewer actually feels something. They enjoy the paint on the surface and the way it's been painted, and then just the images, or the feelings it might evoke. And then the narrative. I like the thought that maybe the audience can sort of look for clues and put things together. I pretty much always have people in my paintings, and obviously they're notoriously hard to paint. I think it's good to practice. Definitely not there yet, but I just think drawing, painting, pushing people over and over, you definitely get better at it. Yeah, I don't know, sometimes I feel like all the marks you're making, it's like you're the filter. Sometimes they look like something, you go, yeah, oh, that's it, that's what I'm after. And then other times you look at it and you just know it's not right, it's not the look you're going for. I want it to be fresh. I like to see, gestures and the brush mark. So I did a bachelor's in fine art in Oregon, in America. They're thinking about the difference between American universities and British. That it was much more practical learning over there. But then I do wonder if that when I moved back here, I struggled to sort of think of what to paint, or I just feel like I felt very isolated. With the correspondence course, it is great because you have sort of 5 uploads, they call it, where you send 10 images to your mentor and they send you back a big critique, review kind of thing. But what's lovely is you can keep them. So if you're, normally when you're in art school or something, it's face to face and you get a critique, unless you quickly write it all down or record it. But I've got all those on my laptop, and I can, it wasn't that long ago that I went back and referred to it again. It's just lovely to have a kind of conversation with someone looking at your work. Or even that, I try to make it kind of sort of sepia, or like this sort of nostalgic old thing. And then for the hair, sometimes I've used that real hair. It's really my photograph that I'm using to start the painting. That's my composition. So I spend a lot of time cropping, or even if sometimes I'm using 2 photographs. I'm not very good at Photoshop, and also I just don't want to spend ages photoshopping. That's kind of the composition, and then I use my drawing to kind of practice. Maybe I think that these hands, I did quite a few goes in the sketchbook, just so that you become better at it, and that when I'm painting quickly, I've just got the kind of, I've already done a rehearsal, and it works better. I do like to have a few practices, and after I'm kind of draw, and then I've started actually painting up in my sketchbook as well, so that I'm sort of ready. And then I sort of G myself up a bit, so I kind of want to paint pretty much in one go. And I just think it keeps it fresher. I think as soon as I start to get too precious with anything, I just kind of kill any spontaneity or freshness in the paint. To be quite, I like to transfer the image quite exactly. I do it spend ages. I just want everything to be in the right place, because I just don't want it to be too much of an illustration, or I want it to really be based in reality rather than like illustrating in a book or something.